Hi, I'm Darcy Priester, an instructional technology resource teacher. In this video series, I spotlight EdTech tools and how you can integrate them effectively into your classes. Welcome to a rerun episode of Tech Tuesday. Things have been a little bit crazy and I have not yet been able to finish the latest episode. So occasionally I will choose to go back into the archives and pull out an older episode that is still relevant. And that's what I've chosen to do in this case. Today's rerun episode is all about the Q&A feature and the closed captioning feature in Google Slides, plus a segment that I no longer do called App Spotlight on Flippity. So please enjoy this rerun episode from season 3.
In this episode, I'm taking a look at two special features in Google Slides, Q&A and closed captioning. Google Slides has all kinds of special uses, but these are two you may not be aware of. The first one is the Q&A feature that allows your audience to ask questions while you're presenting. When you go to present, click the drop-down arrow next to the present button and select Present View. A new pop-up window appears with several tools. We're going to focus on the first tab with the audience tools, but let's pause for a second to look at the other tools. The second tab allows you to access your speaker notes while presenting, important for helping you to remember key points. On the left side of the screen, you'll see thumbnails of your current slide and the next one coming up, and also be able to select and change slides. Below that is a timer to help you stay within the time limits of your presentation. Now let's go back to the audience tools. To get started, click on Start New. The window will change, and at the top is a link to give to audience members so they can ask questions while you're presenting. The questions will also appear for you to see below this link. And you have a toggle button to turn this feature on and off. Audience members will ask questions by opening their browser and typing in the link. So let's act as audience members for a moment and type this in. On this page, you can ask questions throughout the presentation. Questions will post anonymously unless you sign into a Google account with the button in the top right corner. Anyone on the page can see the questions and like or unlike it. The idea here is that if more than one audience member has a similar question, they can like it and bump up the popularity of a question and not bog down the feed with similar questions. As the presenter, you can choose which questions to display, either in the order they come in or by the number of votes. Click on the Present button to display the question. Click Hide to go back to presenting your slides. Now, you could use this as you lecture in class and have students use the Q&A feature as a sort of back channel as you present. Or students could use this feature when they're presenting projects. Ms. Murphy's 7th grade language arts class recently did process speeches explaining something like how something worked, such as how to wrap a gift or how to make cornbread. At the end of each speech, students asked the one presenting questions about their topic, such as how they got interested in the topic or how long it took them to learn something. Students could have used this feature to call on one another. Of course, now you will want to set some ground rules for using this just like you would anything else. I would recommend having students log in to ask questions and create guidelines about the type of questions they can ask. Another new feature recently released is closed captioning in presentation mode. This is where you can display your words in real time at the bottom of the screen. Here's how this works. In a presentation, click on Present, And once it loads, find the toolbar in the lower left corner. Then click on the CC button. As I talk, the computer's microphone picks up on my voice and displays my words on the screen. Of course, this will depend on how close you are to the computer. When I tested it, I could get about 4 to 5 feet away from the computer using the internal microphone. Now, if you connect an external microphone, you might be able to get a little bit more range. Captions will not contain punctuation, and right now this feature is only available in English using the Chrome browser on a computer. I can see this being very valuable for our ESOL population and helping with fluency. In fact, as I was driving into work this morning, I was listening to the Google Teacher Tribe's latest podcast episode, Tips from the Tribe. This is where listeners submitted their own tips for Google Tools. Joe Marquez, a past contributor to the podcast, had this great idea to share, which contributes to fluency. If you are one of those teachers who don't like teaching from a slideshow, or maybe you're teaching a concept that doesn't need a lot of prep, but you like the idea of closed captioning, you can add an image to a slide and then go into presentation mode and use closed captioning. This is a great idea. I think I really like it. If you are also a heavy Pear Deck user, don't fear, you can still use this feature too. You just have to click on the CC button at the right time. Right after clicking Present on the Pear Deck add-on, click the CC button in the Slides toolbar. You will have to do this quickly before Pear Deck has fully loaded. The captions will only appear on the presentation being projected, not on student screens. Finally, my last tip for this feature, use it with Screencastify or really any screen recording software so that your entire presentation is recorded along with the closed captioning, and then you can upload it to your YouTube channel or an LMS such as Canvas for students to review as needed. This episode's App Spotlight features Flippity.net, a site that you can use to create different activities from the data you add to Google Sheets. You can create activities such as flashcards, a quiz show, timelines, and so much more. I like that they also have activities for scavenger hunts and tournament brackets too. With March Madness coming up, it's always cool to have some kind of competition with students' favorite books or apps, things that they can play along with. At the Flippity site, you can explore all of the activities and view demos to see how it works before viewing the instructions and working with the template. Each activity has a template you can edit in Google Sheets. Follow the instructions to know exactly how to create your activity and also allow for student access. Students can also create their own activities using the site or the Google Sheets add-on. You can learn more about the add-on in the link in the description area below.
Thanks for watching today's rerun episode. All of the resources will be in Wakelet, and that link will be down below in the description area. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little notification bell so that you get notifications of when I have new videos available. I will see you again in 2 weeks for the next episode of Tech Tuesday.